Hello and welcome to D.R.E.A.M.S Podcast. My name is Scott Coleman. I'm on here with my beautiful co-host, Mr. Jackie Mitchell. As you guys can see, his skin is shining bright. Man, what you doing to your skin these days?
Hey man, I told you, juices and berries.
That
And I
good old
wash
natural.
my wash my face every other day. You know what
Every other day. Hey,
I mean?
but on another note, before we get to our special guest, we definitely want to just send a shout out to you and give you your flowers. I know this is the weekend upcoming here on the 15th where you get and you're going to be introduced into the Southern University Football Hall of Fame, which is an amazing feat. Not too many people can say that they're in any sort of Hall of Fame, let alone a Division I university like Southern University, which is a prestige place to be in. And so just congratulations to you, brother.
Hey man, I
Yeah.
thank you for that, Scott. I thank you and Blair. I thank you for that, man. I'm humble. I'm honored, man. I'm gonna do some crying this weekend. You know me,
Yeah,
I
of
get
course.
emotional,
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I also wanna give a shout out to you too, bro, because you was a part of that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You was on that team. You was a part of that legacy. You were part of those championships, and you was
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you was my workout partner, man. So we've been
Mm-hmm.
rocking. We've been going like recliners for a long time, man. So I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you and for everybody who was a part of that journey. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And then also before we introduce our special guest, we want to just give a shout out to our followers, our people who've supported us. We just surpassed 5,000 subscribers um, in just over 4 months, man. So, which we didn't expect that, right? We came into this thing um,
Green.
just wanted, yeah, green. Just wanted to just honestly knowing that our stories could help some people. We
Yeah.
didn't know that we would be able to bring on such amazing guests.
Right.
And so, like they
I
always
go
say,
with that.
two heads are better than one. And tonight we got three.
Come
So,
on.
Man,
yeah,
there
so
y'all
we
go with
got,
that, man.
hey, so this young man here, we used to train together at Don Fields in Alexandria, Louisiana, which is the premier spot where athletes train at. But he's taken over that feat now. So he's training some premier athletes. So he's kind of, taking over that feat. But you know, um, he stood out to me. Definitely, he caught my eye. He was just extremely athletic, big. He could just move. He was just different. And so, with that being said, he was able to accomplish some great things. Like play at a Power Five university, which we'll get into, and and go to the NFL. So we want to give him his flowers and congratulations on all your athletic success. And how you doing, Mr. Blair Phillips?
I'm doing pretty well. Hey, look, I might not look like it now, but I used to be able to see back then. Like I know, I know I got my glasses on, but yeah, but I back then I used to be able to see. So yeah, man, it was appreciate the introduction, Jackie again, man. Congratulations. Like I said, that's legacy stuff, man. That's stuff that no matter what, as long as that school still stands, you can go back and see the work that you put in, to get there. In spite of Scott being a workout partner. I know that was hard, man.
Hey Blair,
having to drag
listen.
him around and wake him up and
Hey,
all.
nah, he damn near killed me, Blair. He damn near killed me. When I went to Alexandria, probably the same spot y'all trained
Yeah,
in.
Don Field. I
Yeah,
brought him to Don
Hey,
Field.
yeah.
Blair, I tell you, he took me in there, and I was coming from Canada, so I
Oh yeah,
wasn't,
it's different.
that heat is
Yeah,
totally
it's
different.
different. It's
But I
different,
didn't
man. It's
quit.
different.
But I had to go.
Yeah.
I had to go give it up and come back.
Yeah, puke and
Yeah,
rally. That's what they call it, man. That's it. Puke and rally.
yeah.
That's
Oh
it.
yeah,
I
hey,
was like,
and
man.
also let me give a shout out too to my number one Oregon Ducks. By the way, I know
Oh
Yeah,
we
they
yeah.
talking
got
about
they got the number
Oregon.
one
Yeah,
spot,
but
baby.
my
They got the
number
number
one,
one spot.
hold on, and not just for the week. They've been there for a minute though. You feel me?
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
go.
yeah.
yeah,
Congratulations on that, man. They deserve it because they're playing good football.
When
They
they
are
are,
yeah.
playing
man.
good football.
They had to get a Southern guy out there to lead them. That's what happened. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
did.
yeah. He did. Hey, we just what you actually. It's funny because you're coming. We're back to back Oregon Ducks. We just had it. We just had
Patrick Johnson.
or yeah, Pat Johnson,
Oh,
who was
Pat,
Hmm.
He's in the Hall of Fame for track and football
man,
at
Pat,
University
Yep.
of
Pat's a
Oregon.
legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pat,
Yeah.
Pat,
And you know what?
him and Patrick Chung, man, they're gonna have to fight for the best Pat of all time in Oregon, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's amazing, man. But you know, talking to him, you would never think that. He's
yeah,
Mm-mm.
just a humble, cool,
that's
laid
cold.
back cat, man. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was cool interviewing him, man, and getting to know him. So he got a
Yeah.
yeah.
story too.
Well,
Hmm.
I'm the opposite, man. I'm gonna tell you everything I did without you even asking, man. Just
That's what we want. That's what we want, Blair. Just lay it on out there, Doc. Just lay it on out
You guys, what
Yeah.
there.
time of the day is? I'm gonna tell you, man. I used to play.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, man. That's what it's about. And in moving forward, man, we wanted to touch base on, since you brought up those Oregon Ducks being in the
Man,
number one spot, man. So like I said, I want to say congratulations. But for yourself, you played at Oregon, major Power Five university, had stints with the Dallas Cowboys, New York Jets in the NFL. And after you were done playing, how are you able to fill the void?
man. It was almost a kind of a seamless transition. It wasn't something that was planned, but just kind of happened to kind of be around, waiting for workouts and working out at my old high school because came back to my the where we live and just ended up walking out and being like, hey, you know hey, go do this. Hey, make sure you're doing this and doing this, and kind of transition into coaching. So during that time between, when if you're not a high draft pick, you kind of hit that workout circuit. So I got to try out for this team and work out for this team. And how that kind of moves. So in between those times of those calls and those super quick, hey, pack a bag or maybe not even pack a bag, just get to the airport. I was working at the school and ran into a couple of kids, and it's just like it was like I said, it was really seamless. It's still kind of hard, deciding between continuing to chase it and
Hmm.
deciding to help develop other kids or put that time into something else. But yeah, it was just being around and just hey, it just worked. Like it really did. It was like fitting puzzle pieces together.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's amazing because here again, a lot of people struggle, um, making that transition.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think, you know, obviously there's a euphoria you get when you run out that tunnel in front of
Man.
80,000 people, 100,000
Right.
people,
Yeah.
and when they play that national anthem,
Right.
everybody we didn't all been there. That national anthem start playing, them
yeah.
tears. You
Yeah.
ready to? Hey, I'm ready to go right now.
Hey, it's not tears. Your eyes just start sweating. That's
Yo,
all
yeah,
it
you
is.
just
Start
you
sweating.
Yeah.
ready to roll. Hey, 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 and then
Don't
if
let something come over top of that stadium,
I'm
Doc.
about to
Oh
say,
man,
You get that. Hey,
over
you
with.
let them come over top of that stadium, Doc.
Over with.
It's hell on 2 feet out there, Doc.
Over with.
ready
The
to
whole day
go.
gonna last one play because I done knocked myself out.
Ready to go.
That's it, too, man.
How,
That is
my,
it.
I know, like for me, that was the challenge for me is searching for that here again, that high again, something to replace that.
Right.
Did you experience that, like searching for that euphoria?
Yeah, it was it is, man. It's really hard. It was there's you play so you say little league. If you're really good at little league, there are parents who come talk to you. Everybody wants to, tell you how good you are and you scored, 4 touchdowns and then it gets to middle school, then it turns into, junior high, into high school, and you kind of get this praise the whole way up through that chain. And it doesn't matter. It's like I laugh now, being a father, I laugh about, my daughter uses the bathroom or my son uses the bathroom. It's like I use the bathroom all the time. Nobody cheers for me, So,
Mm,
but
yeah.
when you're growing up, no matter what it is, if you're good at a sport, like you get cheered for every single thing that you do. And
Hmm.
then once you get to a certain point where you're no longer an athlete or anybody on the roster, it's pretty hard to at times it's pretty hard to cheer for yourself the same way that people cheer for you to do the normal things, taking care of this, doing this, and the changing the oil in the car, figuring out how to fix brakes, like simple stuff like that. So
Mm,
it goes once the cheers start being a little quieter, like it sort of becomes an issue. But
mm,
for me, I felt like kind of making that transition into coaching, getting into training, and kind of preparing people or younger kids for that day when those lights do turn off. Like, who are
mm,
you then? And
mm,
for the most part, like what you do when the lights are off is who you are when the lights come on. So if
mm,
you can handle that, then it kind of helps you out whenever that somebody tells you, hey, this is your last day. Because most of the time
mm.
it's somebody else's decision, not our own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's tough. Definitely, that's powerful,
Yeah.
man. It's one of the things I've continued to do, and it's people ask me, man, why you still like I still play flag football and touch football. I don't know. Maybe I am still chasing it and don't even know it.
Well, it's just being
I
competitive, man. Like
just being
honestly, like
competitive.
for you to get to the level that you were at, there's something already ingrained in you that made you a competitor. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't you competing against the other receivers, it wasn't you competing against the safeties or anybody on defense. It was you waking up and competing with Scott. And
Yeah.
That was
and
it.
that doesn't turn off. If it's in you, it's something
Mm-hmm.
that's in you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, for I don't know if because I know, like, you feel as a former guy, you don't want to continue to chase, like,
Mm-hmm.
where you were, because it kind of doesn't let you progress and go forward. But you're
Mm-hmm.
always going to be competitive, man. If you playing
Mm-hmm.
dominoes, hey, you playing
Yeah.
Uno with the kids, if
Mm-hmm.
playing like a solitaire on the computer, you ain't gonna want to lose
Mm-hmm.
to the computer.
Yeah.
So it's just being competitive, man.
Just want to compete.
I'm
It,
like
Yeah.
it's
Bernie Mac
funny.
say. Bernie Mac say, I
Yeah.
kick a kid ass.
Yeah,
I kick a kid
yeah.
Hey, it's funny. It's you know
Yeah, that
it's
is, man. It don't matter. Hey, it
yeah.
don't matter.
Don't
It don't
matter.
matter.
You can get
Yep.
it.
Don't line up
Anybody
across
can
Hey,
from
get
me,
it.
you
doc.
gotta learn. What do you say? You gotta
It's
You
funny.
gotta
learn. You
learn.
gotta learn.
You gonna learn today. Hey,
Absolutely.
it's funny you said we talked about competing. Last night I had a touch football game and I caught a ball down the sideline, took off, and my foot. They say I stepped out, whatever. So I'm running down the sideline, and dude running behind me. He think he a speedster. He's running behind me, and I was coasting because I knew he wasn't gonna catch me, and I was looking back
Yeah,
at him. So he started saying if he had 10 more yards, he was gonna catch me.
yeah.
And so I said, so all throughout the game,
That's on your mind.
I'm like
Right.
this fool. So right after the game, we end up
Challenge
winning
me.
22-20. I say, look, man, if I get out open, you ain't catching me. He talking about, yes, I will. Yes, I will. I said, we can race right now. I'm gonna compete. I'm gonna
Right.
keep. And he thought he thought I was playing. He was like, I said, yeah. I said, let's go.
Hey,
The whole
hey,
everybody watching. So
hey.
I said, I'm finna, yeah. Hey, you
It's the
lying?
it's
We
the
get him.
thin line between petty and competitiveness, though, brother.
Oh yeah, we finna compete. You want to run your mouth? Hey, we get out. We get him. Hey, we beat him. And then
Yeah.
I had about 5 yards left. I start woofing at him.
Yeah. You look
I
at
told
him with that.
You look
hey,
back at the sky.
and then I told and then
You
I told
just
him, I
getting
said,
here.
I said, you a young buck. I said, I just turned 48
Yep.
last
There you
Wednesday
go.
on
Yep.
Wednesday.
Yep.
And you just got
Yep.
and the young cat was like, you said you 48 running like that? I said, yeah.
Yep.
But speaking of that, man, we were kind of talking off camera. I want Jackie to share the story. So Jackie had a stint with the Miami Dolphins. It was a pretty cool story where some guys were racing. Man, tell us the story, man. Finish us the story.
So man, I go to Miami my rookie season. I'm the only defensive back they bring in. So in camp is Terrell Buckley, of course Brock Marion, Sam Madison, Pat Surtain. We had Brian Walker. We had Sean Wooten came from
Mm,
Chicago. I was the only rookie defensive back. So it was a linebacker. I can't remember his last name, but his first name was Brian. I do remember that. So, once you talk about competition, competitiveness. So Brian, I'm assuming, he ran a great time at the combine. He ran a 4.4. And he
mm,
wasn't a small guy. You talking about guy 6'1", maybe about 230, 235. You running the 4.4, that's moving
mm,
with
Yeah.
that girth.
Right.
So he was like, man, I ran a better time than you, Buck. And Buck was like, I don't care about that, because Buck doesn't curse. So man, next thing I know, well, let's race. $10, $50, $100. Nah, let's run for the car. So I'm on the
Yeah.
sideline. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Run for what? So me, Jerry Wilson, Aronde Gasson, they out there gassing it up. La la la. So our strength coach at the time was John Gamble. And John Gamble was like, he's like, Coach, you be the referee. So the rules were if you pulled up, if you slipped, you lose.
Mm.
So man, it took them like 25, 30 minutes to start the race. So then they get settled in and they take off. Boom. Brian jumped out on him. Bam. And so, we on the sideline. I'm like, about to beat this dude. The last 10 yards, T-Buck. Boom, 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 boom. Man, Brian tried to dive over the finish line, right? So what's crazy, all the DBs, we pick up T-Buck. We going around the field with him. T-Buck said, give me my keys.
What kind of car was it?
Yeah, right.
Man, he had a brand new bubble-eyed Lexus. That just came out.
No.
This is 99.
Yeah,
Said
around
it
that
just
time.
came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Said
yeah.
just came out. He had a
Yeah.
brand new
Hey, they were rapping about
champagne.
them around that time.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. He had a brand new
Boys.
champagne. Yeah,
Right.
champagne, silver, bubble-eyed Lexus, rims, knock in it.
Oh.
And so, man, what was so crazy, Brian wanted to be tough, right? Oh, I'm a rider. Don't worry about it. I'm a rider. He goes in the locker room. They still holding T-Buck up. So T-Buck was like, give me my keys. So Brian give him the keys. When T-Buck took the car at the parking lot, the car stopped. So at that time, I don't know if y'all remember, but late 90s, the low jacket just came in.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, man, Brian had called the people and told the people to cut off jacket. That's a true story.
Oh.
So he was like, they called the people. So what's crazy, the car stalls, man. They end up pushing the car back in the parking lot. T-Buck left that car in that parking lot for a whole week for him to come to work every day and see that car. He ended up giving it back to him. But boy,
yeah, back to him.
he gave it back to him. But it was a
That's
hard
funny, man.
lesson, Doc. That was
Oh,
a
Yeah, that's
hard
funny.
lesson, man. I was like, oh my God. I said, you done lost a car? And they laughed at me. I gotta share this too, because they laughed at me. Because when I went to the league, man, I didn't have a car. Like when I was in college, Scott was my ride. I had my roommates, teammates, I didn't have a car. So when I went to the league, man, I bought a Camry, right? I paid for it, my little signing bonus, and I'll never forget. I came in the locker room. They on my ass. Do you hear me? Man, that Camry out there in the parking lot. They laughing, they ragging, and it's crazy because they was like, man. So I was sitting in the corner. I mean, I ain't tripping,
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, man, that's my car. I was like, man,
Right.
what you doing with that Camry, man? This,
Yeah.
that. And so,
Yeah.
Scott, I'm a little intellectual smart mouth. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So when they said it, I was like, man, y'all know what? I said, man, I understand it. I appreciate that. I said, but I'm going to share something with y'all. I said, if y'all get cut, y'all shit going to get repoed. I said, mine already paid for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so that's how it was. I wasn't
Hey,
trying to
look.
be nothing I
Hey,
wasn't, bro.
hey, I had a four-door Cutlass Oldsmobile. It was a light blue, and it didn't because I was driving it from college to Dallas. Like after I got picked up and all that. So I'm pulling in, and there's the Maybachs. You got the G wagons.
Got
I
everything
was
out
there
there, bro.
when Terrence Newman had had a Benz, and we had
Yeah.
Colombo. Mark Colombo had
Mark
like
Colombo.
a special order dually truck. Man,
He's a
I
big
pulled in.
dude, man.
Look, the passenger side was dented in. Like you probably wouldn't even think like anybody was going to even drive past the Dallas, facility. But I was like, yeah, man, I'm parking in the parking lot, getting out, going to workouts. Bro, we doing the same stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Hey,
Those are the times.
but did you have some knocking in the trunk?
Of course. Of course I did. Of course I did. Well, look, I put the CD player in myself and the speakers. Of course I had it in there.
Got
Yeah.
them 12s beating.
Yeah,
That's
it sounded like a
mandatory.
whole trash can.
Yeah. That's mandatory.
Mandatory. The good
Hey,
old
Yeah.
days.
It's only
but
right.
no, yeah, but no, man. We appreciate you sharing that story, man. I
Yeah,
mean,
thanks.
that's hilarious, man. It's if people could just see some of the stuff they go in the locker room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, It's just
It is
man.
jokes. And
It's,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is with T Buck, like he was. I remember him from when I was a kid. Like he was like you know how now like they have like the junior high kids, small kids, like they'll get college guys, autographs and all that. And I remember growing up thinking he was like Superman. So to hear like a
yeah,
story about him doing something like that is hilarious. That is so
yeah,
funny, man.
yeah.
Phenomenal
That
No,
is.
person, man.
he can
Good
play.
dude.
He
Yeah.
can play.
Yeah,
Yeah, he can play.
Return, everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's a good football player.
yeah, man. But jumping back on track, man. Like talk about a little bit. I know in your childhood you moved around uh quite a bit to a couple of different states, and obviously you guys ended up selling in Alexandria.
Right.
Talk about that, and eventually what kind of inspired you to kind of lean towards football.
Man. So I guess the growing up part, like we moved around a bunch. My dad was in the Navy. So I was born. I got two brothers, so it's three of us. My oldest brother was born in San Diego. I was born in Oakland. My youngest brother was born in Philadelphia. So like two on one side and we got one on the other side. So whenever we have like these little East Coast, West Coast things, like back in the day, we
Mm.
used to talk crazy to my little brother. But we
Yeah.
lived in left California, ended up going to Chicago for a while. That was around the time the Bears were winning. They were pretty good, like winning the Super Bowls and all that. And then ended up in Philadelphia for a while, and then moved to Mississippi once my dad got out of the military, and my mom went to medical school. Ended up in Alexandria. So it is. We've been around a bunch. I guess the coolest thing is that you get to experience different stuff. It kind of sucked. Always being a new kid at times, but then the other part is you understand what's important. Like what I mean. Like the stuff that happens with your family, especially like your immediate circle, like what happens with with your parents and with your brothers and that kind of stuff. And so for me, like because we were always the new people, it was easy for me to kind of transition into understanding like we work as a team, we work as a unit. When one falters, the other one picks up. Whatever's going on. So the teamwork thing was kind of instilled in me early, especially with my dad being a military guy. So we got into that, and then ended up in Louisiana. And look, it's funny now, but when we were in Mississippi, you couldn't tell me that I wasn't going to be in the NBA. Like I would have told
Mm,
you I was going to be in the NBA before NFL, or maybe even playing Major League Baseball because I was
mm.
really good at baseball. And then we moved to Louisiana and ended up playing playing football. And it just kind of took off. But man, I thought it was gonna be like Damon Stoudemire, because I was about
Yeah.
5'10" around the time. Like I'm
Mm,
hooping all day long, like just going to go play basketball. And I was like, I'm not playing football anymore. And then, once we moved here, my dad kind of talked me back into playing, and then kind of took off from there. But it all started off with him anyway. Like,
mm.
a lot of the positions I played, even the number I wore 32, 33 early on, and it was numbers that that he wore when he was younger. And I think I told you guys a story before about my dad playing for the Packers, and I thought in high school, like his high school team name was the Packers, and I went and found like a Packers greatest players, thinking he was going to be in it, but it was his high school team. So it
Yeah.
was a lot of that stuff was based on this is we're playing ball. Hey, I'm gonna wear his number. He was fast. He played running back. So hey, I'm gonna do the same thing and kind of make it work. And he never played in college, so it was a dream of mine for kind of for us to fulfill together, and for him to
Mm,
see it on that stage. Like I never thought it'd be Oregon, but for him to
mm,
see it on that stage was you know was
mm.
was was awesome to me. So he was a big part of why I really played football. Man, we used to back when Dion was wearing his bandanas, tying them up and all that. Like as little kids, we're 5, 7 years old, wearing bandanas under our under our helmets because my dad got us like we fitted though. Like we got everything on. So it was man, it was really cool growing up, especially
Oh, yeah.
playing football like that.
Well, hey, like Deion Sanders say, hey, you
You
look
look
good,
good.
you feel good.
You feel
You
good,
feel
man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
good, you play good. You
man.
play
Look,
Play
good,
good.
you
They
get
pay
paid good.
good.
hey, it
Pay
used to
good,
be.
you eat good, live
Hey,
good.
look, I promise you, like, my little brother, it used to be where, because he played running back. I played more defense and that kind of stuff. And ain't nobody really coming to watch a little kid play defense. Like he might be happy striking folks and like knocking people down
Mm,
and all that, but they want to see like kid who, man, that man scored 10 touchdowns. So my little brother like was the one that like legit like they would what time they playing and people would go like and it'd be packed just watching.
dang,
And we'd have the gloves, we'd have like the do-rag. Like man, we were fitted, bro. You couldn't tell us nothing
he's
back
ready.
then. Yeah,
Yeah,
super
no,
ready.
That's
yeah.
But hey, we
solid.
would also be smelling like Bengay. Like I don't know if people still use it anymore. And atomic bomb. Because
Oh
the
yeah.
Yes,
tops is old school,
yes.
so it would be sore. You run the ball, your forearms get sore. And so like we were smelling like, 60-year-old men. We were like, 10, 11 and all that. So but it was, bro. Gave us a little toughness,
Oh
put some
yeah.
dirt
Absolutely.
on it, rub it out, walk it off, you'll be all right.
Rub it
Kind of
up.
like
That's
that.
it.
Is
Yeah.
it?
That's it. That's solid, man. That's solid. And that's this. So did your brother continue to play?
Yeah, he continued to play. He ended up playing they he ended up playing safety at Northwestern State here in Louisiana, and he
Okay.
ended up transferring to Tech and stayed there for a little while. But around that time, like I was at Oregon, and he decided to more focus on like school stuff than anything. But I always tell everybody he was the better athlete in the family. Like if
Mm.
anybody's sitting listening, I won't tell him that. And if we ever
Right.
went against each other, I got to do him in for sure. But yeah, I always
Yeah.
did. I always said that. So
That's solid, man. That's solid,
yeah,
and that's crazy because, like you say, people hearing stories, people showing up in games, people ear hustling to watch you guys play. Then the
right.
transition for you in getting to Oregon and doing the things that you did, and from there, going to the NFL, and it's just crazy because you had the opportunity to be around some NFL greats.
Yeah,
Your Bill Parcells, your Terrell Owens.
yeah.
What are some of the life lessons you took from being around, basically two Hall of Famers?
The funny thing is like when you're around them, like it's especially when you're a young guy, it's kind of you feel like you're kind of weird to ask them, hey, tell me everything, and because it does, like the stuff that you end up learning as a veteran guy, like is you can't just sit and talk with for an hour to do this, like you kind of have to watch habits, and it's kind of like that fatherhood thing, like when you're the sum of your actions. You're not necessarily, what you say you're going to do, but it's the things that you do, your habits. So, some of those times, just sitting and watching, from T.O. and those, heavy lineman shoes where he's catching the ball, a 5 yard speed out and he's taking it, 65, 60 yards to the house, finishing the play, from, Marion Barber doing the same exact thing, catching a ball and falling down and standing up and running and finishing. So that was one of those things that was really important that I noticed. Like, you think that these guys are, the best players just because they're the best athletes, but they're also the hardest workers. So what you
Hmm.
don't see, like it seems easy when you see it on Saturdays and Fridays and Sundays. It is not easy, man. That is doing it on Tuesday. That is doing it on Wednesday. That is doing it on Thursdays. That is, on those off days. So it is like that was one of the most important things that I realized, like, your habits. Be a professional. Take care of yourself. Every single day, and finish plays and work hard. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. That's
Good
that's
deal.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. That's a you provided a few nuggets in that statement you know, and that's what it's about. It's like you when you see it,
Yeah.
when you see it, it's like it's tough to do something when you've never seen it done.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
just to kind of elaborate, because I had the opportunity to play with Terrell Owens in San Francisco, and I thought I was a hard worker, which I was a pretty decent worker, and then I see him, and I'm like, oh, this is how you do it. Because before I would just catch the ball and sprint for 10 yards, because everybody I
Right.
was around, I said,
Right.
there, I get there, wherever he catches on the field, they running the whole field. I'm talking about 80 yards.
Yep.
Come back. By the time you get back, you doing one on ones. It's time to get back up.
Yep.
And you're right. It's not in our nature to to ask questions. It was just, just a quick story. I just one day I just asked. I was like, man, what do you do? I like in the off season. I just said I've never seen anybody move like this
Right.
big and fast. And he said, I have a really good regiment, I have a really good trainer, and he just kind of left it at that. And nutrition and things of that nature. And I was on a practice squad that year, and they did a show called 6 Days of Sunday, where they would document him, getting ready for the upcoming game. And his trainer came in for the show, and he introduced me to the guy. At the time, I'm about 195. I don't know, like 195, something like that at the most. I'm skinny. He says, so he introduced me to him. The guy he said, take your shirt off. So I take my shirt off. He said, oh yeah, Terrell, I had this guy at 215 in no time. So I'm thinking, so I have been always trying to gain weight, gain muscle, and I can never gain weight. So I'm like, yeah, right. Man, I went there in the off season. I went down there to Atlanta with them and trained. In 2 months, I went from I weighed in at 194. I was 207 when I left in 2 months. And then I stayed on that same regiment. He talked. We were on the phone like every day, like what to eat, my supplements, everything. It was expensive,
Yeah.
but it's an investment. Like we talking about investment.
Right. That's it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Man, I went to training camp. The fight a year later. Man, I was 219. I had dropped body fat. I went from 8.9% body fat to 6.5, and I was faster.
Oh, yeah. Right.
You see what I'm saying? But like you said, I seen, that's like here again, we saw what it looked like.
Right.
And it was like,
right.
Okay.
If you hadn't seen that, you thought you'd hit your ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. What you doing?
Right.
And yeah, no, man. And it's really amazing to be around these type of people. And just like, we talk about us working out with each other and pushing each other. Right. And then we see something else and we're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what it's about, man. Picking up different things.
And honestly, you were one of those for me. Seeing your picture on the wall, seeing, the NFL, even the college to the NFL, like whenever you said that, like that immediately commands respect. So anything that, Don said you were doing, or anybody that was around me, whenever, they said it, when, call you Scotty, but, whenever Scotty did this, they're talking about, Scotty with NFL, Scotty with this, it was something that was like, man, all right, whatever he's doing, if he can work out here and make it, then I can work out here and make it. What is he doing? And trying to find that. So for, we talk about Terrell Owens and all that. So you may have never heard this before, but you're one of those for me as a younger dude, man. So, I'll give you your flowers also. I know we got a Hall of Famer over there. But it might,
we got a Hall of Famer.
Wait a minute. Come on, Blair. That's a low blow, man.
But you are, man. Like, as far as like, people who were like, all right, man, follow their steps. This is somebody that's done it, and somebody who is doing it. And even see you out there when I would come home from school sometimes, the flag football, by the city park. If you were in town, if you were around, in the city or whatever, like for you to come out there, that made it to where also whenever I would have to, go talk to kids or do that kind of stuff, it made it easy because, it was something that I saw before, and it was something that, I thought was, expected and I knew I should be doing. So I'll give you that too, man. I know it kind of went, a little bit
for sure.
as a surprise for you. Yeah, but I'll give you that one. for sure.
Yeah. I enjoy coming back to Don Fields and training with you guys and training with the young fellas because you guys were hungry. And it really pushed me, so I was being selfish, I guess, in that regard. And I guess in another in another realm, you guys were looking at me and saying, okay, if this guy can play in the NFL, maybe I can make it too, know, because you can see it. Okay, this is how it's done. You see what I'm saying? But the other thing was, I look back, I'm like, was I crazy? I'm thinking because whenever I would come home, I'm playing in the NFL, and my butt is going out there playing flag football.
right.
And Jack, hey, those boys, I'm talking about, they was ready to go too. They coming up pressed, and they you're in the hood, so they talking cash.
And especially if they knew you played.
Oh man.
It's over.
They all knew.
So
I didn't go up for jump balls because I didn't want to get hurt or nothing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if one of them, if I didn't just blow past them, one of them was the ball was underthrown, I didn't go up, and one of them would knock it down, and you should hear him. Oh, I should be playing in the NFL. I should be. Hey, the boy. Hey,
Hey,
I used to love it. Hey, I used to go out there and give it to him. Hey, I used to go
I
out
used
there
to
and
tell
I
him, yeah,
be
you're
talking.
right. You're right. You should be. You
Uh,
should be. You're right.
oh no, but hey, the next play, I'll get him. I'll make him quiet. The next play, more than
Yeah.
likely. And they were, but it was funny, man. But and speaking of that, now you have an opportunity to give back, and I know you're training some of the youth. Talk about that. What's that been like for you? And talk about some of the guys who are now possibly and playing and got a chance to play on a university level or even possibly on a professional level that you've dealt with.
It's made me realize that I'm old. that's,
Yeah,
that's what it's made me realize. I was talking
yeah.
to maybe Wednesday, man. I was talking. I had a kid. He's a eighth grade kid, and oh yeah, hold on. Shout out to them, Brain Gators, district champs. So he's a
Okay.
kid that plays for
Congratulations.
one
Congratulations.
of the junior high kids here. So but he was like, talking about Madden in college football. He was like, is that why, college football hadn't been around like 10, 14 years? And I was like, man, yeah. I was like, yeah, I was on a couple of them. He was like, well, when? Was it like, 17, 16? And I was
Yeah.
like, uh, I had to go back. I was like, nah,
Yeah.
that's oh 06, oh 07. And I'm on a Madden too. So I was like, man,
Mm.
they probably don't even have copies of those anymore. The only thing I got is, the ones that I bought when they came out. Like one of them had me messed up. I had dreads on one, I had a fade on the other. So it
Mm.
is. It's a very humbling experience. I'll tell you
It is.
that. It is a
I
very
know.
humbling experience at times.
Yeah.
But it's awesome, man, because you get to see these kids who, now are getting these offers who are, starters at a certain level, and they're also healthy. You know what I mean? Like they're not just, I'm out here for, a quarter and I missed a couple of weeks and then I came back. Like these guys are taking care of their bodies. Like they've learned how to stay strong and how to stay healthy without like, pushing to a limit where, you're, doing too much to kind of hurt yourself in season. And it's really cool to see these kids mature. I got a couple of guys who are playing in college now. Uh, one's at TCU, Bud's at TCU. Shield is at Stanford right now. A couple of guys playing at small schools. Jamari, he's at Indiana. Shout out to them. They're what 9-0, 10-0 this year. First time that's happened in a long time, and he's out there playing for them. And some of these young guys that are signing and getting offers and all that. So it is. It's really cool. And like I said, it's a humbling experience at times, but it's really cool just to see them where. But I got to think about development, man. Like I love that moment where a kid who can't skip and chew gum at the same time figures out he can do it, and there's that look on his face where he's like, man, I figured it out. And for the most part, that signing day, that getting those handwritten letters, those official visits, those are those times where it's like, man, they've kind of figured it out, and they're getting to get some of the things that they've been working for, and that to me is the craziest stuff, man. That is awesome to me. I love seeing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
solid,
awesome, man.
man. That's solid. That's. I think that's the beautiful part about all of it. The development, seeing that aha moment when it finally registers on them, or even through the
Yeah.
part of even in the part of registering, it's like they're getting it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Even it can be like the smallest thing, the foot placement, the angle of the
Right.
shoulders.
Right.
Doing this. So all that makes a difference, man. And like you said, in the development, to me, that's you got to fall in love with the process because if you're only
Yeah.
looking at the results, you're not gonna have what you want. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right.
saying? So you're playing a very pivotal role in the develop, mentally, physically, emotionally, and preparing them for real life things because there's gonna be some good, there's gonna be some bad,
Right.
and then and from your experience, that's the greatest gift that anybody could ever receive. So that's why when you say that about Scott, I say the same thing, Scott. Like I don't. For me, I worked out by myself.
Mm.
If I wasn't in school, like when I went to Philly, when I was at San Francisco, I was literally alone by myself. I was alone with I worked, ran, did everything alone. So having someone like a workout partner like Scott, I mean, we used to battle, man. Like we used to
Mm,
battle,
mm,
Blair. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this to Scott, and I'm over it now, but it took me a long time to get over it. He know what I'm about to say. So man, we out there in one on ones, and we speak about development, right?
Mm.
And I feel like I was a decent cover guy. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to face the best. And Scott did this move on me one day, Blair. And when I tell you, boy, he made me so mad because he would flash his hands, right? He would flash,
Yeah.
and so when he flashed his hands, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get him. So this time he flashed his hand and took it back, and he grabbed my forearm and pulled me through.
Oh.
So when he pulled me through, I
Yeah.
couldn't
Yeah. It's
turn,
over with. Yeah.
man.
Over with. Yep. Locked everything.
Uh,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I said, that's all I did. I said, I got you. I got this guy. But
Oh,
that
shoot.
move right there had me mad for damn near 20 years, man.
Hey Jack, hey Jack, hey Jack. Before you go to your next question, it's just a
Yeah.
funny story. I don't know if you remember this. So Blair, we had this dude out of Opelousas named Robert Hammond. He was the when he came out of high school, he was
Number
the
one.
number he was the number one DB in the nation, and he was the
Yep.
number 4 player in the country.
Yep.
Damn.
He started at Florida State as a true freshman, and I was
Yep.
with
Oh yeah.
with
Yeah. He's
Ward Dunn
balling.
and them, right? He was
Yeah.
yeah. So he was a baller
Yep.
Right.
and got in some trouble repeatedly, like about 3 or 4 times, where he ended up getting kicked out, and so he transferred to Southern because remember because he only had one year left
Yep.
eligibility. Remember he
Mm-hmm.
would have to sit out and he'd have been done. So he
Yep.
transferred to Southern. And so one day and it was about 10 NFL scouts there. So of course everybody. So it just so happened he played free safety and I played in the slot most of the time, and so he ended up on me. So of course
Mm-hmm.
I guess he think he's gonna come dish rag me or something.
You're right. Right. Yeah.
So I came off, and what I would do is I just hesitate a second, and I would flash. I would flash my hand, and the DB, of course, he gonna shoot. And when he went to shoot, he shot man. I grabbed his phone. When I say he was 38 hot, he was
Yeah.
man. He was
Immediately.
so mad because the
Hey.
scouts, because the scouts was right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god! He said, "Why you grab?" He grabbed me. He cried. He grabbed me. Man, I said, stop crying.
Hey, you embarrassed that man in front of company. You can't do
You did. You did. Yeah.
Oh shit!
That was
Yeah,
my first and last time you was gonna do it to me, Doc. I said, "Oh
yeah,
no, oh no." But he got me, man. So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. As Blair was talking about the development, those
Mm,
are the little nuances of the game. You see what I'm
yeah.
Mhm,
saying? Those are the little things that veteran savvy leadership guys can give
Yeah.
to the younger bunch. And like you said, you got to see it, because
mhm,
Yeah.
anybody done that to me. No one, and
mhm,
Right.
nobody in college would ever think to do that to me, because I'll choke you. You know what I
mhm,
mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I was physical, Blair, but he did that, and I could do nothing but watch him run by me, and I
And see,
just
and
stopped in
see,
my tracks.
and one of those things that I'll say too is that early on, like I try to do like everything where it's working on corners and safeties and tight ends and guards and and wide receivers and all this. Like there are certain things that you're gonna learn just from doing it that you can't pick up by okay, yeah, I know how this works. So it is like there
Exactly.
you become elite at a certain level when you go through those reps and when you do develop and when you do have somebody that challenges you and makes you have to work on things that you thought you were great at. Those
Absolutely.
having to work on your offhand, having to work on not pressuring with your inside foot, and so it is like there are certain things that if there are people who know the game that didn't play the game, but there are different things that you'll learn from somebody who does play the game or did play the game that you won't learn anywhere else. So it is
mhm,
like when you have that, and I don't think I don't think any of us did growing up, but like where somebody can teach you that kind of thing that only somebody who play at an elite level can teach you. Like,
mhm,
you kind of you playing with the house's money. I know, said it
mhm,
earlier, but you're playing with the house's money. Like there's
mhm,
no way you can get anything better than that. You know what I mean?
mhm. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man, and you know, that's a great segue, man, because what happens in the development phase of it is stages of maturation that we
Right,
always speak about. And for yourself, you know, not too many people get to experience the NFL Combine.
right.
Talk about the experience and what would you do differently regarding your preparation.
Oh man, my combine experience was hectic. It was to say the least. I was a little bit younger, and not as much, well, I guess a lot of bit younger, and not as much, foresight, like as far as like, seeing into the future. I think that my combine experience was probably like everybody else's, minus one thing. But like everybody else's, you go through all these meetings, ask you, do you want to be a butterfly or a zebra? Hey, what size shoe does this look like on this poster? Like it's just, some of the weirdest stuff. You'll get through put through like the medical testing kind of early on, and even that's kind of tiring. I can't remember the name of the machines that they use, but it feels like your legs gonna snap off, like trying to when they're doing their testing. They do the bipod stuff. I think they do a little bit different stuff now, but but there is a lot of positive stuff. You get the goodie bags where all the NFL stuff with your name on it. Stuff you dreamed of having. You're walking into a meeting room with around that time Lovey Smith and those guys, and it's like, man, I see y'all on TV. Like these are
Mhm.
TV guys who I'm sitting in the room with now, and Dion's walking around like so it is like that part is pretty cool. Going through and getting like free shoes, free hoodies. You come back like you went through the mall and didn't spend $1. So it is. It's really cool, and seeing those other guys that you may not have played against, but you watch and you compete with from afar, and it's like, oh, I wonder what he would be like. He's the linebacker. I know I'm better than him. Like he looks small on TV. Oh, it's like, man, that guy's kind of big. So it is. It's kind of cool just being in that environment. Like that's it's a really interesting thing. It's a bunch of positive and stuff. One thing you're not gonna get is a whole lot of sleep. Like that's one of those things you kind of got to plan for it. Being a business weekend, it's not a vacation. If I was could go back, I would tell myself that as far as like keeping a schedule, not getting sidetracked on certain things. Um, but for the most part, man, it was really cool. It was I came back with a lot of stuff that I still have now, and that I'm even either gifted away or having like keepsake stuff for my kids and that kind of thing. One thing that I would focus on, like I said, kind of getting sidetracked about just different stuff, not having a lot of foresight was just making sure that you take the time to lock in and make sure that nothing else matters besides what you're there for. And once you get through that, everything else is okay, cool. Now you can deal with that or whatever. Around that point in time, I ended up. It's a funny story now, but it wasn't funny then. I was in the hotel, and I'm arguing back and forth with person I was like dating around that time,
Oh.
and and yeah, it always happens. I was a woman, and so but I remembered I was like my agent and I'm getting ready to run the 40 the next day, so I remember my agent telling me, he was like, man, you know, uh, he's like, get some alcohol, like peroxide or that kind of thing. Put it in the bathtub, take a bath. It's gonna help oxygenate your blood. Your muscles will be fired in the morning. You're gonna run fast and be cool. All right, cool. So I walk to I guess it was like a CVS or something like that, and grab all this stuff, get everything together. Start running my water, and phone rings and starts getting to an argument and all that. And then, I'm sitting there arguing and, making my case and, going back and forth. And then the hotel room phone rings. I'm like, "Who? Ain't nobody calling
Mm.
me. Like I'm already on my phone. Like nobody knows I'm
Damn
here."
flooded. The damn tub and
Yeah. So
overflowed.
look, man, so I pick up the phone. And they're like, "Are you running water?" And I'm like, yeah, how you know?" So I ended up overflowing the tub, man. It
Oh
went
my
into my
god.
downstairs neighbors, into their room. I'm like,
Oh
man,
no.
they gonna kick me out of here before I even got a chance to run. Like I'm be gone tonight. I know they gonna be a helicopter. They gonna make me take a train. They gonna make me take a train out of here. So
Damn.
I cut the water off, hang the phone up and all that. And then from there I'm just kind of like, I'm just lay low, like just make sure, if they call again, I'm act like I'm not in here. But I was, man. I thought I got myself kicked out the day before I ran, the night before I ran the 40. But it was just silly stuff, man. Being 20, being invincible, being 21, being invincible. And if I could go back, I would. I I can laugh about it now. And but back then it was like, boy, what are you doing? Like, lock
Yeah.
in. And that would be
Yeah.
one thing. And that's what I try to do with the kids now. Like whenever I talk to them, you know, yeah, there are fun times. Yeah, there are, times where, things are going to be easy, but there are also going to be times where, you're going to be pissed off. You're going to be pissed off and quit, or you're going to be pissed off and go through it. Are you going to be locked in for this amount of time? And if, and the other thing that I remember a coach was telling me, if you knew you had the Olympics in 3 weeks, what would you do for those 3 weeks to make yourself win gold in for the Olympics? So whenever I have kids who are in season, who are out of season, how much time are you willing to focus to where when it really starts and those lights come on, and it really matters to where whatever you've done, you can put yourself through and do whatever you want to accomplish.
Mm,
So, me doing stupid stuff kind of, it did. I guess I didn't need to flood that room, but
mm.
but I guess it helped for my development.
Yeah. Dang. So I guess you didn't take a bath then.
Nah, man. Look, let the water out. Took a shower.
Oh,
Hey, look,
Forgot all about the soaking. All
look,
right?
hey, in and out though. I was like, I'm not gonna be here any longer. If it starts getting up like to any part of my foot, I'm turning this water off. Man, I
yeah.
lost every towel I had to dry off with. It was some shirts I had.
Damn.
Yeah,
Part of
it's
the
over with.
process, man. Part of the process.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll talk about. I mean, obviously, getting free stuff. I know that's something. I was having a conversation with somebody. I can't remember who it was. Oh, it was. I think it was. Might have been. It was. I might have been Steve Walford. One of our running back in at Southern. But we were talking about the Heritage Bowl, and we were saying that that was mandatory, and you got free stuff.
yeah,
We love, especially in college, man. At that time, especially where we came from, we love we love free stuff. And but let's we know one place where you wasn't getting free stuff. Let's talk about your junior college experience. Down in Mississippi.
yeah.
So
Nah,
I mean, all I know, here's the thing: I never got an opportunity to experience junior college, but I
yeah,
watched that show Last Chance U, and I was
yeah,
like, whoa, right? I mean, I don't know if I could have did that. Look, that was rough.
yeah.
So I'm curious, man. I just want to know a little bit about your junior college experience.
Hey man, everything in even my school was on Last Chance U. They played against Gulf Coast, so I ended up
Okay.
going to Mississippi Gulf Coast, in Perkinston, Mississippi. And if you
Mhm.
look it up, it's probably got like 100 people probably that live there, and then all of them were at the games on when we played on Thursdays and all that. But it was it is exactly like Last Chance U. There you got kids, you got guys who are who are football players who did well enough in high school to play like at another year, another two. But like for the most part, like academics wasn't part of the plan going forward. It was league and that was it. So those ladies running around chasing kids and study hall and all that kind of crap, and some people not eating
Mm.
like that was all real stuff. Man, I have so many stories from from junior college, man. I swear. I mean, the cool thing was like you played against guys like there's a lot of talent in
A lot of talent,
it's
especially Mississippi Gulf Coast.
especially in Mississippi, in a
Yes,
Mississippi league. I
yes,
know Texas is doing
indeed.
well. Man, there's so much talent because you have those guys who are bounce back guys, who are guys who like you said, they played at Florida State, then ended up So
A lot
like
of those
those
guys was
guys,
placed too, Blair. A lot of those guys
Mm.
were placed there from other
Yeah.
universities.
yeah, for
Cam
sure.
Newton.
Yep.
Yes,
Hey, look,
Where
yep.
we
did
played
Cam Newton?
against.
Where did
Yep,
Cam Newton go?
yep.
Where did,
He
Glenn, he
went
went to
to
Glenn.
Blinn,
He went
yeah.
to
Blinn in
Glenn. Yeah.
Texas. Yep.
But I'm
Oh,
telling
Texas.
what
So,
Okay.
he's saying, Scott, in Mississippi, I've been down there, bro.
yep,
I'm telling, it is some talent down there, Doc. These
man.
grown men,
Mm.
they grown men.
Mm.
It was there was a school, man. I can't remember the name of the school. It was they weren't very good, but they any Florida State kid that had an issue with eligibility or wasn't playing or needed to develop, they went to that school. They had probably
Was
about
that
three or four
Pearl?
guys.
Was that
Uh,
Pearl?
Nah, it wasn't Pearl. It was they were further up north, man. It wasn't Southwest. Now Pearl
Was
had a
that
bunch of people too.
Kahoma? Yeah,
Pearl,
Pearl had a, they were loaded, man.
So I don't know. You remember the name Larry Brackens?
Mm-hmm. The receiver.
The
Larry.
receiver.
So Larry
Yeah.
went pro from Pearl.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
he didn't
at
go
one
to it.
point, Pearl and Mississippi Gulf
Yes,
Coast was
yes.
producing nothing but pro talent, Doc.
That's it.
Mm.
That's it.
Me and Larry played for the Jets at the same time. But Larry, he left, and only I think Joe Horn was the only other player to ever leave a junior college and go pro.
Hmm.
And Larry was one. And Larry was like 6'4", 210. Like, bro, he was like a freak. He was like a JUCO Randy Moss. I swear he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Larry Brackett. Yep.
That
But
young man
anyway, so
that I told you about, Scott, Doc Quill Williams, he went to Mississippi Gulf Coast.
Yep.
well,
Yeah.
one funny thing, as far as like the JUCO thing, man, I remember playing with a father, I think we were 18, 19. He's probably 26, 27, and he was just a guy who didn't play football and had some eligibility left, and decided that he was gonna come out and try it again, and
Chris Winky, huh?
he was a bodybuilder. Like he's probably one of those guys that you go to Go's gym and he's in there lifting the whole gym, and he just decided he was gonna come out. But he was like, you guys remember the program Latimer from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
program
Absolutely.
Yeah.
busting
Yeah.
headbutting windows. He was one of those guys. He was the guy like when you can run the wedge on the kickoff. He was the one you would
Yeah.
have run into the middle of the
He's the
wedge.
point man.
Oh my God, he is the wedge buster. But he was, man. He's we finish practice and we go to the cafe and go eat and go to the dorms, and he hops in his car, or his wife, comes to pick him up with the kids, and he drives off and goes home. And we're like, man, all right, I guess this is JUCO football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, a whole grown man out there. But, I mean, he wasn't bad,
Wow.
but I was like, bro, this
Yeah.
is wild. They was wild.
There's yeah. That's I can imagine. There's two other players. Jerron Bolden
I remember JB.
came out of JUCO and went straight to he went to the
He went to
NFL.
CFL.
No,
Went to
no,
CFL first.
first, yeah, CFL
Yeah.
first. You're right.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then
DB receiver.
DB.
DB.
He ended up
DB.
playing 11 seasons in NFL too.
Big old
After
fella
that,
too, man. About
yeah,
6'3"
and then
corner.
Yeah.
Mike Sellers came right
Oh
from
man,
JUCO.
I used to love Mike Sellers, man.
Yeah,
I used to
yeah.
love Mike
That's
Sellers.
my guy.
Yeah.
I got a story. I got a
he was
story,
on-
but
you
I
were in
can't.
Washington
I
with
can't
him, huh?
tell it on here though. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
tell
Yeah,
it.
man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell it on here. I probably could, but I don't think. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell it.
Him and Larry Centers. You remember Larry Centers?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
fullback.
man, I used to love that, man. They used to ball.
Yeah, no, Mike. Yeah, Mike is athletic, man.
Mike is
Big.
a freak of nature, man.
Hey,
Yep, yep,
I don't
yep.
know if I don't know if y'all had this happen like anybody with the Pell Grants when y'all were at Southern.
Jackie had Jackie on the Pell Grants.
Man,
Jackie had him.
we had one that he got his Pell Grant and dipped out like from the JUCO.
Got that money gone.
Man,
Yeah.
hey, he got rich and started a label and came back
Look
in
at
in a van
Came
with
back
his
in.
label on the side of it and his mixtape and all that. But he got that
Yeah.
that little 225 room was cleaned out like nobody ever lived in it. And I was like, what
Yeah.
is so him and the older dude with JUCO, man, I think we didn't see I didn't see it all, bro. I promise I
Oh,
have.
but well, man. Before I turn it over to Jackie for a final question, what you got a beautiful family now. Been married. You've been married roughly 14 years or so.
Yeah.
And so, congratulations on that, man. That's not
Absolutely.
an easy feat. That's something Jackie and I wasn't able to do. but we you know we were like
I was
we
married
was
longer than that, but hell,
I
it just
know.
didn't last.
Yeah, I was me too. I was married actually I was married like 14 years, 13,
Yeah,
14
I
Hey,
was
years.
look,
right. I
hey,
was
see,
right at 18,
I
man.
thought this was the end of it, and then y'all trying to
Right,
go back. Oh
right.
my god,
Hey,
come
Yeah,
on,
no,
man.
but you know what? It's not a we look at it at a lot of people look at it like you know when a relationship doesn't work or a marriage doesn't work that it was a failure. No, it wasn't a failure. That
Yeah,
person was put in your life for a period of time and
right,
something I heard, something one of the things I live by, you know, most relationships has an expiration date. Just think about some of the people that came to our lives that we thought would be there forever.
right,
But relationships have an expiration date, and you know, we served the purpose, we served each other, and
right,
then now we learn from our mistakes and we do better on the next one, right? That's all.
right.
Uh, but
Hey, I ain't gonna
you
lie to you
know,
though. I think that the marriages that end up lasting the longest are because people are hard headed. Like it
oh
might,
yeah,
yeah, it might not be the greatest. Like you live and you
no,
learn
for
and all
sure,
that. But I do.
yeah,
They, they're hard headed, and it's like, all right, we're gonna make this work. That kind of thing. So it isn't like
yeah,
even though it does fail, I don't, or it does end. I don't think it is like a a failure all the time.
no, for sure. Well, tell us what's. I would say this. What it like? What advice? Being a here again, you were a professional athlete. Here again, you've been with your spouse for a number of years. What advice would you give a guy entering the NFL draft and then at the same time he's married or thinking about
Mhm.
getting married? How would he be able to balance that and manage that situation? What advice would you give?
I guess it would be the same thing as it's being able to like to lock in with with the combine question, because
Mm-hmm.
it's only a certain amount of time in that year where you truly have to focus on your body, like injuries, that kind of stuff, and that's mini camp through July when training camp starts through the season. So you got, well, I say that and it's a long time. So you say from May to, if you're doing well, you're in December. Hopefully you're playing into January, February, but most of the time you're not. Um, but during those times, if you understand, hey, this is what it takes care of, not just me, but you, and takes care of, whatever kids we end up having, hopefully whatever kids they have, at that point in time. But we all have to be on the same page. Like there are certain things
Mm-hmm.
that, you're not going to be able to do. You're going to miss time on stuff. Like that's part of, being great at anything. If you're going to be a surgeon, you're not going to be out partying in college. If you're going to be, neurologist or orthopedic surgeon, whatever. So when it comes to, the sports side of it, yeah, it seems like it's easier because it's just sports. But you have to lock in and you have to be, where that person understands that there are going to be things that you miss and there are going to be things that you're going to have to pick up, and it might be at times you're doing 70% of the lifting and I'm doing 30. It might be times where I'm doing 90, you're doing 10. But if you can find somebody that understands that there are going to be ebbs and flows, and it's not always like this, like it'll be like this for a while but not always, and they understand that, I think that's the that makes it easier. I don't think it's anything that as an athlete or a player, maybe communication. Hey, the same way you
Mm-hmm.
communicate on offense or defense, you communicate to them the same exact way. But as far as like their habits have to be set up for, what they're doing, and it's like any top tier job. Anytime you have a job that pays a certain salary, like you have to do certain things to command that salary and to keep that salary. And you're making
Mm-hmm.
250, 400, 700,000, 1,000, and every check ends $30,000 a week, or $60,000 a week, or $100,000 a week. Like there's sacrifices that got to be made, man. So
Mm-hmm.
if you can find somebody like that, if you can make sure you communicate and they understand it as well, then, I think, everything kind of works out in the end. But there are
Mm-hmm.
definitely going to be growing pains. Like, no
Yeah.
matter what you say going into it, it's
Mm-hmm.
different when you experience it. Like where,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to the store by yourself, or, you're putting kids to sleep by yourself, or, that kind of stuff. Or I'm in the gym, at 4 o'clock in the morning because the kids were up and they didn't go to sleep. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you have to experience to kind of understand and work through. But like I said, it's gonna be growing pains. Like as long as you understand, hey, we're gonna figure it out. Like, yeah, it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Them kids. I remember Jackie talking about. I think Jackie was saying he couldn't wait to train the camp to come. So you get out of so you get out of that house. Them
Hey
kids.
man, that's all I know. It's like for me, man, I love my kids. I love, when I was married, like you said, things happen and, for whatever reason. But it's like you can't really you can't get into here when you
Mm,
have the noise, you're cooking, you're cleaning, you're washing, you're doing, domestic things, like you said, because they're still your partner. So you don't want them to, slack. You don't want to slack. You want to be there for them. But what I did understand is, like he said, when it was time for me to lock in, Scott, and you know this, like
Mm-hmm.
I ain't had no problem with that. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I didn't, man. Look, leave me alone. Like, I got to go to work, and that's
right.
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't understand. And I think Cliff Russell said it best on one of the episodes. He said it's one of the highest paid temp jobs you could ever have.
That
Oh
was
man, for
Pat.
sure.
Pat.
Oh yeah,
Pat.
No,
Pat
yeah,
Pat
said
said it.
that.
No, Pat
yeah,
Pat
said
said
that.
that.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was when he said it, I was like, whoa,
yeah,
because
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's heavy, man, and
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what a lot of people don't really understand. Yeah,
yeah,
like you said, whether it's 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 700,000. Hey, man, you putting yourself through something to keep that
yep,
job every
yep,
Yeah.
day,
Yeah. Yeah.
every day.
there's a reason why you don't like you're making that much and you still have a like it's hard for you to get there. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely,
it ain't like
absolutely.
you jumping and skipping getting there. Like there's like oh man, you know, all right, here we go. Let me and you making that amount. Anybody that isn't making that amount or hasn't been around that can be like I don't know how you can man the stuff you put your body through. It
Mm-hmm.
is crazy the stuff you put your
Mm-hmm.
body through, man, and
Mm-hmm.
not just physically but mentally because
Mm-hmm.
it's not just the tallest, biggest, fastest, strongest guys. Do you know what you're doing? Can you make adjustments? Like there's a lot that goes into it, man. It ain't just there's a reason why you have those guys who, and I was always surprised. Like they interview players after the game, and they be like, man, he sound like a nerd. like I figured he sounded a little bit different than that. But it's because like those guys who perform the best they're the most disciplined, and they're also smart guys. Like they're not like they're not stupid people. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't know, man. It is a taxing thing. I promise you, man. That's if and you're talking about making those investments into your training, into your body, and all that. But it is a one of those, man. If you're not locked in and you're not where you can leave those small things to the side and somebody else, whether it's a spouse or a girlfriend or an assistant, man, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
struggle.
Yeah.
And to that point, Blair, man, and thank you for sharing that. One of the things that I really I kind of dwelled on, and it's funny because I spoke to a group this past Saturday, and I speak to another group on Wednesday. But what I shared with them is I they asked, "Well, did you love it?" I was like, "That's hard for me to say because when you love something, it can be taken away from you. But when you enjoy it, you'll always find joy in it." And
Right.
that's one of the things. Like when it was time for me to walk away from the game, it was okay for me to walk away from the game because
Mm,
I felt I was done. Like I had
right.
nothing else in me. You know what I'm saying? And so, like you said, your body is a resume. Like you said, the mental anguish that you're putting yourself to, because,
Right.
like you said, even though you're competing against you still trying to make this 53-man roster. You
Right.
still trying to be in meetings on time. You still
Right.
trying to eat right. You still trying to get rest. You still trying to get this
Yeah.
playbook. Do the coach like me? Do I get along with my
And,
other
and
players? It's
and
so
not
many
just that.
things,
If
man.
when you mess up in front of hundreds of thousands
Everybody,
of people. They all
everybody,
know who you are. They know when you get
everybody.
hired, and they know when you get fired.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
So
live
it's
Yep.
different,
wire at
man.
all
Like
times.
like that dude for the Chicago Bears, number 29, on that Hail Mary play against
Yeah,
the Washington Commanders.
man.
The whole world know.
Yep.
Hey,
If that was a high school game or something, nobody, maybe the
No.
town know,
No.
but everybody knew what this fool
Yep.
did.
I'll share this with you guys, and this is you know this story, but to your point, when I was in Miami, I'm going against OJ McDuffie, and I didn't feel well, man. We went out, and I think I ate some seafood, and I think I got a little food poisoning. But coming from schools, you can't make the club in the tub, So I
Right.
go to practice, so I'm out at practice, and I feel absolutely horrible. Like I'm just like I've been thrown up, really hadn't slept. I'm trying to hydrate. I got there early, trying to drink, at that time Gatorade, whatever they had, drinking some a Pedialyte. I'm just trying to get some type of energy. So we get out to practice, and our defensive back coach, he was like, they called me Big Rook because I was, pretty big DB. He was like, man, you're not feeling good. Don't go. Don't worry about it. He was like, just don't go. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna get out there,
Yeah.
Man,
Right.
I get out there and I looked to the sideline. I'll never forget. I asked them, "What's the call?" I said, "Hey, man, what's the call?" Boom, Dan Marino hut. OJ McDuffie took off. I'm a hole and elbows trying to catch OJ McDuffie, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you said, everybody at practice seen it. Guess what happened
Right.
after practice?
Bring
Hey,
your
bring your
bring your
playbook, son.
bring your playbook.
Yeah.
Bring
See.
your playbook.
And it was
See,
like,
man.
and I'm like, man, if I just would have sat out,
Yeah.
Yep.
but
And,
like
and,
you
and see,
said,
but that's the thing, you don't know that either.
you don't know,
You know
man.
what I mean?
You
No.
Because
don't
it is
know.
like you just
Yep.
feel like you have to be there. But man,
Yeah.
I promise you, I had guys that tell me the same thing. You would
Yep.
rather put no tape than bad tape.
Yep.
Mm.
I
Yep.
Yep.
had
And
no idea,
yep.
no
Yeah.
I
idea.
had
But
no
you don't know
idea.
until you go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because, in college, man, you hurt. Oh, you ain't hurt. You get
Yeah,
out here. And I'm just like, and
yeah,
you
Mm-hmm.
just play. You play through it. And
Yep.
now
yeah,
you are playing for a job.
yeah,
You
Mm-hmm.
are taking care of your family, your well
yeah,
being, and whatever responsibilities. And when they cut me, I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
yeah, yeah.
So you are absolutely right, man,
Yeah.
having that,
Hey,
that mindset and
hey,
being
but one
ready.
thing though, OJ McDuffie though, he did a lot of people like that, bro. Like OJ McDuffie was good. Yeah. So
Hey, I'm
don't
not
feel
mad,
bad.
but no,
Yeah,
I didn't, but
yeah.
I wasn't prepared. That's
Right,
my biggest
right,
thing. I'm
right.
sick. I'm looking to the sideline. Boom. Oh no.
Yeah,
And he took off on me, but,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that gave me a hard lesson to understand
Right.
like you say, if you always stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know what I'm
And
saying?
bro, the other part too is like life will give you a test before it gives you the study guide to it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's how
Hey
it goes,
man,
man.
yeah, man, and that's solid, man. And as we're wrapping this thing up, man, Blair's been, I love these type of talks, man. And for you, the journey, the someone like a nomad moving around, your father being in the military, like you said, making new friends. So it's crazy because still to make it to where you made it, still to be where you were, still to have the experiences that you have, what would the now Mr. Blair Phillips tell, and what type of conversation would you have with a 22-year-old Blair? What advice would you give?
Just keep showing up, man. It's just every single day. Just keep showing up. Like the biggest thing you can do. And I know it sounds cliche, you affect your attitude about the day, but it really is. Like there's nothing you can do as far as, you could be in the right on the way to school on a school bus, and the bus gets a flat tire and you're late. Like there's nothing you could do when it comes to, certain situations. But what you can do is continue to show up and continue to challenge yourself to get better, and not just get better as like as an athlete, not just get better as in the classroom. You want to make an A on the test, but as just as a person. You know what I mean? Like being a better son, a better brother, a better whatever it is that you are. But I think that's the biggest thing. Like there's no such thing as taking time off because you don't feel well. There's no such thing as taking time off and just not doing what you need to do. Show up, be accountable, be consistent, and then from there, like everything falls into place. And if you worry about just the daily thing, and not necessarily, what happens, 30 years from now, if you do the daily stuff, and you'll be fine. And I guess that was the biggest thing because when you have so much kind of upheaval, you're moving to different places, adjusting, and and all that. It's just you know showing up, doing the work that day, and then letting those good days add up, and then from there, like you're good, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Hey
That
man,
is
I
I
it.
don't
like
know.
that. He said, "Let them good days
Yeah,
add up." I like that.
That's it,
yeah,
man. I
They're
yeah,
promise.
making deposits and investments, Doc. I like that.
That's it,
yep,
man. That's it.
yeah.
That
That's
is
it.
it.
I know. It's like we probably need to get another Oregon guy on here. You guys, our last our
Yeah.
last our last Oregon guy said, "Hey, just keep chopping wood.
Keep chopping
Yeah,
wood.
Go to
and that's
keep
another thing.
chopping wood.
Chopping
Go to
wood.
work."
That's it,
He said,
man.
"Just keep chopping wood. Go to work, and
Hey,
and be satisfied. And whatever results I get, that's what it is."
it's
That's what it is.
it's a thing. They used to have a thing when Chip Kelly was there. It was win the day, like,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a big thing. Win the day, win the day, win the day, and I was getting out of playing around that time, so I kind of like, with my training and stuff, I kind of like adopted that the same thing, but it is like it is, man. Chopping wood, putting in whatever work, whatever you want to call it. Whenever you can lay down. And when you close your eyes, you can fall asleep. You know you've done enough. If you're sitting there like, oh, what about this? What about that? Man,
Mm-hmm.
some things you can't worry about. But if you've done enough that day, man, go to sleep and lay it down, chop, win the day, and keep it moving.
Exactly.
So it is. I guess
Exactly.
we what is it? My mom's so corny. She used to say that when I was in school, if something happened, it's like water on a duck's back. Just let it roll
Oh yeah.
off.
Let it roll off. Let it
So,
roll
yeah,
off.
that's
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
comes from,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Nah, man. Non-phased, man. Do not be phased, man. So
Right,
Yeah.
for us, man, these are the moments that me and Scott live for. This is what Dreams Podcast
right,
is all about, Blair. And man, I just thank you for sharing your testimony, sharing your journey. And for me, like I said, it's so many things that I take from this. But like you said, win the day. You said um, you said your actions are the sum of who you are.
right,
And a lot of people don't really grasp that.
right,
And I'm real big on mean what you say what you mean, and be who you are.
right.
Because I can accept that. I can't accept a representative. I can't accept falsification when people be like,
Yeah,
oh man, man, get away
yeah,
from me.
yeah.
And if you tell me this is what it is, I can deal
Right,
with that.
right.
And I think as all of us being former athletes, all we ever wanted was the truth.
That's it,
That's
man.
all I've ever wanted.
That's
I
it.
don't need you.
Yep.
I don't need you to paint no picture for me.
That's
If
it.
you
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
tell me, Jackie, I need you here, Scott, I need you here, Blair, I need you here, I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
really get that, man. So for you to get to
Hey,
this
look,
point,
hey, even if it was, hey, if you blow this coverage one more time, you gone.
hey,
Tell me
I can
that.
deal
I'm
Yeah.
with that.
fine. Like,
I can
Yeah.
deal with that. I can
Yeah.
deal with that.
Tell me
Exactly.
the truth.
You telling me the truth. I got
Yeah.
you, coach. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I
Say
got you,
less.
coach. And
Say
that's it.
less.
So
Yeah.
that lets me know right there, one, you care about me. Two, it's important to us. And three,
Right.
I still got to do my job.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was one of the things that I really thought about when I played within the realms of the team atmosphere. And that's one of the first lessons I learned of being a professional. Do your
Right.
job.
Right.
Do your job, man. So I just applaud you. Thank you for being the person that you are. Thank you for being in these children's lives. Continue to develop these children. Continue success in your marriage, man. Congratulations on the newborn. Man. I hope you're getting some sleep
Appreciate
at
it.
night. So and doing those things, man. It's just they're all
He
blessings,
got
man.
he got a newborn.
Yeah, man.
Where were you at,
I
man?
missed
We
Where was
got
that.
it.
your antennas?
Yeah.
Where was your
Oh,
antennas?
It's where we
I
at.
didn't hear that.
Yeah.
You
Man,
didn't
you
hear
got
that?
a newborn.
Three
No.
months.
Ooh.
Just
Look,
say
Man.
congratulations.
hey,
Dang,
yeah,
boy.
that's what you're supposed to say. But I'm
Just say
about to
I,
say
congratulations.
we 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 about to work on a passport. I'm gonna send one your way in a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, man. No. Hey, but you had a boy or a girl?
I had a boy. Last one's a boy. Yeah,
Yeah, man. That is congratulations, man. So
yeah.
Congratulations.
dang, you got hey boy,
This
you over
guy.
there, you over there getting busy, ain't you?
Man, hey man, my reception going out. I guess I think my Wi-Fi tripping right now, man.
Hey, hey, but no,
Oh my
man.
God.
As I say some closing words, just really quick. But Jackie, told me all I wanted was the truth. I had one head coach. I remember Coach Steve Spurrier was the only. I'm saying I mean, in the NFL, because people in the NFL like to lie, don't tell the truth. The coaches, they want to sugarcoat things. He's the only guy that said, hey, we got some guys that the owner paid a lot of money to. They'll get first crack. And then if they don't get it done repeatedly over a period of time,
Right.
and then obviously, or they get hurt, then you may get an opportunity. He's the only guy that said that. And I never forget that. And that's why I always respected him.
Yeah,
he's the only guy that was honest. Other coaches, everybody, the best guy gonna play.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
just paid him $30 million.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
No, man, no, man. But man, first of all, thank you again for coming on, man. To your dad, happy Veterans Day.
Absolutely.
You know,
to your father as well, Scott. To your
appreciate
father as
that.
well.
Oh yeah,
appreciate that.
Scott.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no, man. We, happy Veterans Day to everybody out there that serve this country and keep us safe and protect us. Just we can't thank you guys enough.
Right.
D.R.E.A.M.S Podcast, Locker Room to Reality, discipline, respect, education, accountability, maturation to success, and making that transition. We talk about it, all the time, and we'll continue to say that it's not an easy feat. When you do something for a long period of time and now it gets taken away from you in whatever capacity. You may walk away, that it may be through injury, but you've been doing this your whole life. And so now you have to adjust, and it's not easy. So we applaud you for being able to make that adjustment and now give back to the youth and then show these guys the way. And that's what we need, man. More people like you to show people the way, because here again, like you said, when you see it and and now the light bulb comes on, this is how it's supposed to be done, man. So so yeah, man. So I want to thank you for coming on. What's your social media tags?
All right, so I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and I think there's something else, but I don't know.
TikTok.
TikTok.
You be doing
TikTok,
a little dances.
That's me. That's me in the past.
Gotta have fun with it, man. Gotta have fun with it.
We on TikTok. We doing something else, but all of them are. I am Blair Phillips. Like the letter M, Blair Phillips. For everything. For my business side, it's Blueprint Fitness and Performance. That's the website. That's the handle for everything on Instagram and Twitter. But it's like Blueprint, like the blueprint for a building, fitness and performance. And then my personal stuff is I am Blair Phillips on Instagram, on Facebook, and also on Twitter. And every now and then I'm kind of funny on there, so it might it might pay off, like once every 6 months.
yeah. No, yeah, man. Well,
solid,
hey, man. No, definitely. Well, you guys go and follow Blair. If you're in the Alexandria, Louisiana area, and you got a kid needs some training, check him out. So I'm Scott Coleman, Jackie Mitchell, Blair Phillips. You guys have a good night.
This is
This is Alumni Media.